As SpaceX prepares to become a public company, questions about the company's corporate governance are getting louder. The country's three largest public pension systems have said that they have serious governance concerns. Nell Minow is a ValueEdge Advisors chair. She's been an outspoken critic of lease arrangements between SpaceX and Valor equity partners. That's a major early investor and shareholder in SpaceX. The founder, Antonio Gracias, also serves on SpaceX's board. She's called the leases between those two deals deeply troubling. Nell, thank you for being with us today. You've got a long list of complaints on governance. Why don't you talk about this issue that you say is the worst of what you've seen?
The problem is that Elon Musk and his cronies treat the company like it's their personal piggy bank. You know, all of capitalism rests on just one question, which is, why should I trust you with my money? The answer is usually, well, we have an independent board of directors. We have arm's length transactions. There are all kinds of checks and balances. They've eliminated all of those. They've really turned this into a meme stock because none of the fundamentals of corporate governance are there.
And yet the retail demand is maybe the highest we've seen for any offering that I can recall.
Yeah, that's what makes it a meme stock, because it's completely unconnected to the fundamentals and to the corporate governance. This has got probably the biggest corporate governance risk I've ever seen. And I wouldn't care about that except for one thing. I'm a big believer in the free market. I went to the University of Chicago. I work on behalf of shareholders. But I believe the free market depends on whether you get a chance to decide whether you want to buy it or not. You remember when Apple all of a sudden sent YouTube, a YouTube album to everybody, whether they wanted it or not?
Oh, well,
that's what they're doing with this. They're shoving it into the index, even though it doesn't meet any of the normal requirements and qualifications for getting into the NASDAQ index. And unlike the YouTube album, you can't erase it. You know, the pickle that comes with your hamburger, they're making you eat it. And that's what bothers me. If they thought that this was a real viable stock, they would not be taking all these end runs to the free market.
OK, let's talk about that in particular. We discussed it a little earlier on the show this morning, but the idea that the NASDAQ has said that they'll put SpaceX into the NASDAQ with 100 within, I think, 15 trading days versus the 3-month waiting period that is normally required. Explain why you think that 15-day period is not enough time.
Well, normally they have a 30-month period, and the people who invest in the index rely on that because that will adjust for some of the volatility that often happens in the early trading days. And especially they've got a low float. There are so many red flags here, and yet they're forcing people to buy it. Now, the concerns that you mentioned from the New York State and city pension funds and the California pension funds, they have written to Elon Musk and said, we are shareholders. We are concerned about this. They haven't addressed any of those concerns. And what I'm recommending to our clients is that they pick up the phone, they call Larry Fink, they call Vanguard, they call Fidelity and say, make us a new index that doesn't include this.
You think the NASDAQ 100, I guess people could vote with their feet and not put money in the NASDAQ 100. Do you think that's too complicated?
Why should they have to do that if they like the other 9?
The growth opportunities of the other 99.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that all of those financial institutions are in business. They're all very sensitive of what clients want. And if the clients come to them and say, we want those traditional indicators, we want those traditional qualifications that are the reason that we bought into this index to begin with, I'm sure that they will make a deal.
Right. And now, I have such mixed views of this situation. I think, like you, don't love the way this index thing has been put together and think that there's at least a larger debate that should be had publicly about the governance of how this is approached and arguably governance around a lot of the Musk companies. Having said that, the truth is that history has shown that this man, Elon Musk, has been a winner at a magnitude and order and the shareholders that have been with him at a magnitude and order that is, frankly, off the charts. I mean, it's just a remarkable thing. Doesn't mean that history is going to suggest that or mean that everything's got to go to the moon, but it is a thing, and I just wonder what you think of that.
All right. Past performance, no guarantee of future performance.
Yes, I recognize that. I'm just saying, most people who have hitched their ride to Elon Musk have done very, very well hitching their ride to Elon Musk.
To the moon, SpaceX.
Yeah, Absolutely. I used to have Tesla stock myself until I donated most of it to charity because I don't want to pay for a part-time CEO. You know, Yale did a study showing that Musk, who has made himself the brand, like the Green Giant or, you know, Betty Crocker, he's made himself the brand of the company, and that has hurt the sales at Tesla. As you know, Tesla for the first time is not #1 in the world anymore. China is ahead. And the man is as good as he is spread too thin. This particular company, SpaceX, depends a lot on government contracts. That's very high risk. I don't think it's adequately addressed in the disclosures that they've made. And these insider transactions, I mean, this, you know, as I said, they're using it like a piggy bank. Elon Musk has borrowed money from this company 3 times. He's the richest man in the world. He should go borrow money from someplace else or sell some of his stock. Another thing,
I recognize all the things you recognize. The only thing I wonder is, for years, people had the exact same debate about Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And look, and had you been an owner in Tesla, I think ultimately you would have been relatively satisfied with the outcome of being that investor. And that's the only pushback I would give you about some of these governance things, which no doubt are unusual. I'm just saying that even despite the unusual nature of it all, he has found a way, even with XAI.
That's the only pushback you would give her.
What do you mean? That's a lot of pushback.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But at what point does he run off? You know, he's like Wile E. Coyote. He's going to run off the cliff. He's going to stand suspended there for a moment. The fact is, he's a part-time investor. I mean, he's a part-time CEO, and investors are paying him for full-time work.
We'll have you on with Ron Barron. No, I think that'd be a good.
Yeah, I would love that. You know, that guy who is, of course, very, very bullish because he is personally invested. He certainly benefits. His fund benefits if people want to buy in. But, you know, I saw him on your show, and he was bragging that he got to scoop up stock from the employees who are underpaid and who are so desperate for cash. That's not a good system.
The employees were looking for a way to cash out now. I mean, it allowed the company to stay private for longer, but the employees were looking for a way to cash out.
But we want them to be invested. We want their interests to be aligned with ours. Elon Musk has got his crazy board of you know, his brother, the chef, to give him a ton of stock contingent on establishing a colony on Mars. And yet, even though that has not happened yet, to my knowledge, he is allowed to vote that stock. That is just ridiculous. So at some point, it's going to be too much. And I'm arguing now is that point.
You bought into the stock. What made you buy into shares of Tesla at what point? And what point did you give the shares away to charity?
March
and how much of the?
I waited until I could. March of 2024 is when I donated the stock to charity, except I kept a little bit so I can continue to get the shareholder communications. But I bought the stock, I think, about 5 years before. Yes, I did very, very well with it. And I bought it because I thought he was a very innovative thinker. But I donated it because I thought he wasn't spending enough time at Tesla, and I thought he was a drag on the stock.